Konnichiwa, and welcome to the Bago Anime Cast. I am Eleni-chan, and I am here with my co-host,
Chris Penwell. How's it going, guys?
For our third podcast, we are discussing the 2011 remake of Hunter x Hunter anime. Hunter x Hunter was originally a manga illustrated by Yoshihiro Togashi and was first published in 1998.
And I'll give you a summary of Hunter x Hunter as well. Gon is a little 11-year-old boy who wants to follow in his father's footsteps and become a real hunter. A hunter in this story's universe is a person who has passed the deadly exam and become an elite member of the human race. Even though Gon's father left him to pursue fame and fortune, Gon's dream is to become a hunter just like him.
So, Chris, you've primarily seen Hunter x Hunter in the dubbed version, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think of the dub acting for this remake?
It's actually surprisingly great. And it's not really that surprising, to be honest, though, because it has like really good talent behind it. Some of the best in the industry. So it has Christina V, it has Matthew Mercer, Ray Chase, Erica Mendez, the awesome voice actors for English dubbing. Fantastic, and their performances are great, they're believable, and they give personality to each of the characters.
I've only seen it in the original Japanese, and I'm pretty impressed. Sometimes I find with remakes of anime, maybe it's just from like watching the remakes of Sailor Moon, sometimes the voice acting isn't all that there. You can tell like their lack of energy, but this time it seems that for this second time, their original Japanese cast has done a very good job with producing the emotions that the characters are trying to portray on the screen through the animation. I feel like they're doing an excellent job with this remake. Although I have to admit, everyone, that I haven't seen the original beyond the first episode. So, Chris, have you seen any of the original?
I haven't seen any of the original.
Okay, I'm not alone. This has been on my list for a while, though, to watch. It's just, I've never gotten around to it.
Yeah.
I'm finding that even though this is a remake, and I understand that the manga was first illustrated and published in 1998, I am finding that it's a bit dated. You can tell that it's like mid to late 90s anime style with like it's extremely bright color palette. It's not very much on the realistic side, or even slightly realistic. It's extremely saturated colors. I'm finding
you get that a lot of Shonen Jump animes, right?
Yeah, but there's like almost like no break. Sometimes that there'll be different scenery, or maybe because we've only have seen the first 5 episodes, but usually there's like some sort of like contrast to it. But it is very early on in the series for us.
So yeah, typically with the Bago Anime Cast that we're doing, we review the first 5 episodes, and then if we really love the anime, we do a full series review, and that's what we're going to do with Fuuka in a few weeks, or next week if Eleni gets her Crunchyroll subscription.
I'm getting there, guys, I promise, I'm getting there. Now, these 5 episodes, I'm actually impressed on how well the story's progressing, because I know that there is quite a lot of this anime. There's quite a lot of episodes for the entire story and the plot to be written out in. But I would honestly tell you guys, like, the first 2 episodes are kind of slow.
They're very slow.
Just because, maybe because I've seen so many adventure-based anime before, but it's just, it seems like they are pretty slow, predictable. But after that, like, once the 4th episode hits, things starts happening so fast. It starts like, oh my goodness, it progresses, and I actually had to physically stop myself from continuing so I wouldn't spoil anything in our podcast. But things are taking off in a very, very fast pace. And I'm really surprised that the characters themselves are even kind of slightly recognizing that they're progressing even quickly.
Even like already, yeah. They're progressing already.
It usually takes a while for them to recognize each other. You know, their characters changing, and this time around they're like Leorio, for example.
Yeah.
You find out, it's the 4th episode, you find out the truth about him. about his past of his as a little boy in a very poor section of town they were living, and the boy died because he couldn't receive the surgery because it was way too expensive, and Gon had already knew that he was like a good person, or could tell that he was really a good person underneath.
Yeah.
And it just took a really long time for them to, you know, just to realize it.
Yeah, I think they all did, right? Kurapika kind of pushed him to do that.
He really did. He kept saying, like, I know it's not just, you're not just doing this for money. He's like, there's no reason that you would actually give your life up. Because that's what this entire hunter exam and the life of a hunter is that you are preparing yourself to sacrifice yourself. So this hunter exam, for Leorio to actually take the exam knowing and being warned by the sea captain, being warned by the examiners that you most likely will lose your life. It's not even like if, because there is a super, super high percentage of the applicants actually dying during the process of the test.
Yeah.
And Kurapika even says that, I know you can't be risking your life, your very existence, just for an opportunity to earn extra money or to earn money. And I was very actually surprised with Leorio's reasoning of it being because he wants to be able to become a doctor, or at least, at the very least, be able to earn enough money to provide medicine and medical help to children and anyone who can't afford it. And from his appearance of being, of like looking like an expensive suit and the sunglasses and the posh haircut, he seems like a businessman, like a very elite businessman. And here he is with his suitcase running through forests trying to actually compete alongside Gon and everyone else. So I was very impressed with his character design, of them designing him in this.
He's hilarious as well.
He is.
He takes his shirt off when he's trying to run. He's like desperately trying to get to the end.
He ties his business tie around his forehead. He's like, I don't care how stupid I look.
Yeah. And I think as the characters keep progressing, that kind of comedy is gonna come up more and more throughout the series. But this series is weird. It doesn't know what kind of tone it wants, right? Because it's really light in parts. Like Gon's character's, you know, pretty much happy-go-lucky. He's doing whatever he wants, right? And then he's trying to be a hunter, and it's all going to be happy and great. And then, holy shit, he gets choked to fuck it. He almost gets choked to death. There's people getting killed everywhere. You know, there's you can hear like the sputter of like the card coming out of that guy's head. I'm like, what the hell is going on right now? What happened to this anime? And I think the plot is going to get darker and darker, and it's going to be interesting to see how Gon copes with it.
This anime, on appearance, just from looking at Gon's picture and even Kurapika, like it almost looks like a slightly Digimon type of anime. Like it's meant for, like just the animation style looks like it's more kid friendly. Like you would have a more happy-go-lucky story of, you know, kids down on their luck, and then they, you know, pass a test and they're able to succeed and go on different adventures. But oh my goodness!
But holy shit!
There is a major like in the 5th episode, Hisoka, who, by the way, his appearance looks like a Sailor Moon villain. From one of the, you can tell he's definitely like he looks like a 90s villain. You can just, by his character design. But for the first, I think he started appearing in the 2nd episode. You think that he is the worst villain. He kills on instant. He doesn't care who they are or like if they have a family to provide for. He just does, like that man who bumped his shoulder in the testing grounds, and he lost both his arms, where they literally became flower petals. And everyone
creepy.
was complete shock. No one said anything. And Gon witnessed this. I couldn't believe, like, he witnessed this, and he didn't break down and cry or like lose his mind or anything. I was like,
true.
Like a little mountain boy. You would think that he, even though he experienced somewhat of the life of like the wilderness, I was very shocked that he didn't have a reaction to that moment, or much of a reaction.
It doesn't make sense. Like, it's like two different kinds of anime clashing together, like the Digimon-esque anime that is happy-go-lucky, and then this dark, sinister stuff from Magi, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't know what it wants to be in a way, and like, I was really surprised. Like, you don't see that progression from Gon, like he said. It doesn't really make sense because he hasn't experienced that kind of stuff. He lived with his aunt. He was having a really happy life, and then he's like, when you react badly to something that happens like that, like he's 12 years old,
and he just accepted it. He basically just accepted that this is a reality of the world. Like, you bump someone in an exam and they just take your arms off. Like, that's not normal, even in the anime universe. But Gon, I think, like, Leario had a better reaction.
I will say this. After Hisoka chokes Gon almost to death, which is another thing that, is a little dark for a animation style like this, right? He is somehow able to live. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't watched it, but like, he's shaken up for a little bit there. He's like, what just happened to me? What just happened here?
But it's only slightly.
And he was like, right? And then afterwards, in episode 5, he's like, I'm excited that happened, and I was scared at the same time. I was like, kid, you're messed up. Right? What the heck? So.
Who has that type of reaction to a almost death, more than a near-death experience? And he just kind of brushed it off, and unless this, because neither of us have seen the original animation or have read the manga, I'm wondering if this is foreshadowing as to his father and the family's personality. Like, maybe they're almost like subhuman, because there are other humanoid types in this world. That would make
sense of a lot of things, because Gon is like already quite capable
for being 11, 12 years old. He is more capable than the full-grown adults of the exam, because most of them did not make it.
And it doesn't really make sense. But, like, then, if you're saying that, then it kind of would be. And, Killua, he's the other 12-year-old kid that we just barely get introduced to. He's got attitude, and he's, like, he's kind of funny.
I kind of like him.
Yeah. But, like, you see in the intro and the outro, like, he's got these red eyes, so he's going to be, like, some sort of devil kid or something. So that kind of makes sense. And I also don't buy, just like Killua, for revenge
Kurapika? Oh, right.
I think he's hiding the real reason why he's at the Hunter exam.
You still think, like, there's a reason on top
He's not in there just for fun. He's doing it for a father or something like that. Like, for revenge or something.
Like Kurapika.
Yeah.
He's definitely... His entire... Another part of why this is a very dark anime is his entire clan was murdered for their eyes.
Oh, yes!
And then the eyes are actually ripped out of their skull. Like,
oh my god!
This is so much darker than I would have ever even thought of.
But if you're watching episode 1, you're like, yeah, this is awesome. Like, just imagine, like, a bunch of parents putting this on for their kids on Netflix, right? Because they think, oh, the animation looks really kiddie. They'll probably really enjoy that. And then episode 2, they're like, what the fuck?
They literally, their eyes are ripped out of their heads, and they're sold on the black market, and Kurapika is the only one left, and he feels that his life purpose is to avenge his family, to avenge his clan, and he said to literally take back the eyes. And I was sitting there wondering, like, that's a little... I don't, like, if I was in that situation, I was like, that's a little gross. I don't know if I would... maybe avenging's a good idea, but I don't know about taking... Like, what is he going to do with the eyes? But anyway, I guess put them in a monument or something. I don't know. I was just trying... Like, my thought process during this entire speech of his, I was a little confused. But I think everyone...
I was like, what the hell's going on? What the hell's going on with this anime? It's so dark.
Could that also mean that Killua is also part of that clan, because his eyes did turn red, or it seemed as if they turned red?
Ooh, that's
but I
a
don't
good
know.
theory.
But see, in anime, it's common for even characters in non-magical anime for them to have like fiery eyes, or their eyes to turn different colors to show their emotions a lot more. So I don't know if it was just that aspect of it, or was it really because Killua is a member of Kurapika's clan? That's what I'm trying to wonder. And I don't want to look up spoilers. I'm just going to keep watching.
I'm looking at the characters' faces right now, and they look very similar.
They do.
The nose, the eyes, the eyebrows, like they look very, very similar.
And on purpose, because if you notice, this is one anime where each character's eyes are very distinctive. Normally the eyes are distinctive in other animes based on their color and sort of like sometimes the shape, but it's more usually the color that changes. For this anime, they're actually taking, based upon like the regions they're from, they have different actual eye shapes. Like Gon's eyes are very rounded, very open. I know they're supposed to be innocent looking, but even his aunt had that same look. Her eyes were very more open, and so did the people of his from his the docks in the mountains. They all had like the similar eye shape. And then Kurapika and Killua have these very more angular, like almond shaped eyes.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to.
And similar bone structure as well in the face.
They do.
Yeah.
And Lorario is just Lorario. He's just himself.
Yeah.
Although his sunglasses are a little like I just want to like pull them off his face. It's like you're underground. You don't need sunglasses underground, but it's just I know it's part of his character design, but
it's a very strange anime though. Like for example, the tester for the first challenge, he was like walking like really like strangely. You know, he was like funny walking, like from Monty Python almost, right? It's kind of
the test examiner.
Yeah, the test examiner. Yeah.
That's why, like, I have a feeling that I wonder if the people who pass the test aren't exactly human. I know that they're supposed to be like an elite class of humans, but like looking at also like he didn't have a mouth.
That's true.
He had no mouth. He was walking extremely funny, and like he wasn't using joints. That's what it was. It was very stiff.
Yeah.
There was no movement of his knees or elbows. I'm also wondering if they're going to even show him again, like they're going to explain him at all, or if it's just another, passing character that had his brief moment. I'm also wondering if Hisaka is going to come back. I have a feeling he is.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, he's the main bad guy, right?
Yeah.
You see that in the intro. He's facing off against Gon all the time, pretty much, right? They're rivals.
But I'm curious, like, how far that's going to go. Like, are they going to
that's going to go really far.
You think so?
I think. Yeah.
Because I've seen... I always compare anime to other anime, but, like, there's anime that there's enemies, and you see them all the time, but they're never really explained much. They don't have much of a backstory. So I'm kind of hoping that with Hisaka, there's a little bit more of a reasoning besides him just looking like a magician clown, as I call it, with his the star and the tear and his attire.
My theory is that Hisaka's going to try and break Gon down in a way,
and that's the only reason he kept him alive.
I think so.
Like he's just
they said that they have potential, right? Like the Oreo and Gon, so he wants to keep them alive so he can fight them again in the future. Yeah.
I'm also really, really curious on how Gon is a little bit on the predictable side. You kind of know that he's going, because he is the main character, you kind of know that he is going to make it big. He's going to...
Yeah.
You kind of know he is going to make a name for himself.
He's the son of a famous hunter, right? So...
But with Kurapika, I'm starting to wonder how far Kurapika is going to progress. Like, is he always going to be this angry? Is he ever going to, learn to basically accept his sorrowful past of losing everyone, or is he ever going to find happiness? It's that kind of wanting to know more about a specific character that I really want to continue this series.
We're probably going to get that from the camaraderie, I think. But, I don't know. Like, Kirkuk is a weird character for me, like, especially with the voice work for it. Because at first glance, you think he's a she. You know, the voice actor's female, like, for both sides, for dub and sub. And it was actually quite intentional, I looked up, for that to happen. So, I don't know. Also, there's no reason for it, apparently. It's just...
within the first time that I saw Kurapika, I kept referring to her as a she.
Yeah.
Because not just because of the voice. A lot of female voice actors do... in Japan, a lot of female voice actors do act for young boys or young children or even animals. Usually it's
intentionally female.
It is. And also his covering, that sort of almost like medieval squire type uniform of that covering, I kind of thought he was hiding as a girl for some reason.
He wasn't like...
But yeah, after he like flung it off, and you know, it was kind of easy to tell that he is a boy. But I was very curious as to maybe they just wanted him to sound more feminine, but that could just be the basic reason. I also like one point I want to bring up is the clothing style.
Yeah.
Because normally for fantasy anime you have sort of like a very distinct time period for the characters, for their looks, for their hair, for even sometimes their mannerism. This time it's like a free-for-all. You've got Luario. Yeah, Luario's in a suit. Gon is wearing like a slightly modern day look but he still looks kind of old-fashioned. Killua definitely... Yeah, Killua definitely looks like he's from 2000 with a skateboard and everything. And then you have like the sea captain who looks like he's from the 1800s. Like there's people who like it's also a little confusing. I know it's not supposed to be like a specific time frame, but you can't help but when you watch an anime series is to try to somewhat place it.
Yeah. Even
if it is in a fantasy universe. Is there any character you like based on their look or just like the design of him or her?
Not particularly. Yeah, at this point, I haven't really seen a character that I think really looks interesting in a way. But I do think the costumes reflect who they are. Like Killua, he's relaxed, he's chill, so that kind of fits
on the outside.
Yeah, on the outside, probably not inside.
No, he's very intense. Especially with, like, he just drinks that poison.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Technically it is a poison, because if you drink enough, it'll kill you.
Yeah.
He's not a main character, but I forgot his name. There's a contestant on the exam who wants to bring down, he's known as not the freshman crusher, like the, first year crusher.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
He's taken it like 30 times or something, this exam, and he actually hands out poisoned juice, I think they call it juice, in these cans to all of the different first years in hoping that they basically have intense diarrhea so that they can't compete. Yeah. Which is disgusting. But anyway, that's the way he plays dirty. And for Killua just goes up and he's like, oh, can I have some more of that juice? And he just like wafts down like 3 more cans. And he even like stores it on the side and ends up using it later on with the monster.
That was clever.
And that was very clever. I feel like he kind of knew that they were going to come up against some type of, or at least a situation. You can expect with a hunter exam that a monster's going to appear. But I thought that was pretty clever and funny for him to keep holding on to that.
The characters are actually quite kind of clever, But
they're not your run-of-the-mill adventure characters.
They know what they're doing, pretty much. Even Gon to an extent, right? Like how he can detect certain things, and because he's a mountain boy or whatever, right? That was kind of...
But also, besides just living on the mountain, and besides like basically living like semi-wild out in the, like, he still grows up with under the protection of his aunt and under a seemingly loving community, but I still think he's like only semi-human.
Yeah.
I keep getting that feeling that
I think you're right. I think
there has
you're
to
right.
be.
Yeah.
There just has to be. There's
a reason why we haven't seen the mum or the father, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Killua is more of like a human type than Gon.
Yeah.
Even with the white hair, and because they are trying to keep, I think, more natural hair colors compared to other anime, but Killua has like this white hair, and he's very pale with these mid color blue eyes, but even like physically Killua looks more like a non-human, but he acts much more human than Gon, I believe.
Yeah. Gon's just a happy-go-lucky type, really. Like, nothing really phases him that much. So
he's also very, very... It's scary, but he's fascinated by the near-death experience.
That's very strange.
Because this remake opens with him fighting off that very large whale-sized fish in the mountain lake.
Yeah.
And he could most definitely die from doing that, and he catches him at the exact same age that his father caught the same fish type. So it's like it's almost like they're pushing the foreshadowing a little bit too much, especially for a remake. I feel like they're doing it a little bit too much, but we'll just have to see.
Well, they're foreshadowing that he's a non-human. So
yeah. In my opinion, I don't know. I've purposely not looked anything up about this anime.
I haven't
on
either.
Purpose.
I think that's how we should do it, really.
Yeah, we need to do this from now on.
So, which characters do you really like, and which do you hate right now?
Personally, I would honestly say Leorio is my favorite. Is my ultimate favorite.
Yeah.
As of right now.
Yeah. How come?
I love characters that are seemingly so serious or that are businesslike, but in reality they're just like these ridiculous persons who are actually very emotional. It sounds like a very mixed bag sort of character, but that's the kind of ones that I always am fascinated on how the original writers are able to craft them. And I feel like Leorio is going to be one of the more complicated characters. I thought he was a businessman originally, or that he, which in a sense he is. He only wants to deal with money. He wants any type of job that's going to bring him loads of money. And the money's he wants to use to help kids and anyone who can't afford medicine and operations. But he was also willing, like during the whole, I believe it was the second phase of the exam, because the first phase happened on the ship. So they're in the forest and they're trying to get to the cabin where there's going to be a couple who's going to help them actually find the testing site, which is really like another third phase of this entire hunter's exam. But he right away, when he sees the man on the floor bleeding and semi-unconscious, he right away is like, this man needs help. And out of this briefcase, which you think had very little in it because it's so small, he like whips it, he starts bringing out supplies. He's got like he's got like a needle with like some type of medicine in it. It's like, where did he even get that? But I was I'm hoping that they kind of like explore more of his intentions of like, does he really want to become a doctor or a healer? Like, is that what he wants to do in like a hunter pack? He wants to be like the healer or like a cleric type, or is he really just out there to make enough money to then pay for these operations, to pay for the medicine, or does he want to be the one actually doing the healing? So I'm really much more interested in how Leorio is going to work out over the other characters. What about you? Is there like a character that you're really hoping to see a lot more of, or to find a lot more out about?
I really like Leorio. He's probably my favorite right now, but I'll just choose someone else just to make it more interesting, I guess. So, I do like Killua. He's one of my favorite characters in the show right now, even though we've seen him so briefly. I like how cheeky his statements are, and how yeah.
I love his skateboard.
Yeah,
like
his skateboard's cool, man.
Like, I love how he was, like, basically sailing along while everyone else is running through underground for this exam, and I forgot how many kilometers they said they actually ran.
I think it was 80.
80 kilometers. Okay. And he was, like, for most of it, he was just on a skateboard. He was just, like, sitting there, and everyone else is, like, running. Laurio's got his tie on his head and his shirt, like, tied around his waist.
Yeah.
And he even dropped his briefcase, and he's just, like, running full speed ahead, and Kurapika eventually takes off the squire uniform somewhat, and Killua, he's just like sailing. But then once Luario and I think there was another character mentioned that he was cheating because of the skateboard, and he's like, well, I want to see how far this is going to go, and then he just pops the skateboard off, and I was impressed by that. I was surprised and very, very impressed that he actually took his like skateboard under his arm and decided to run alongside everyone.
Yeah. That was cool.
That was a really cool moment. I hope to see, like, skateboard moves from him. Like, especially, like, among the trees or in mountains or something, because this obviously is going to... These adventures are going to take place in all sorts of terrain, so I'm kind of hoping we can see some more skateboarding from him.
Yeah, the character has a lot of potential, I think. Like, there's a lot of things we don't know about him, like, from the red eyes and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's going to pull a lot of things from Gon that he's not going to do by himself. You know, like it's going to influence the character in a better way. You know, rather than his happy-go-lucky self, he's going to, you know, transition a bit, change a bit.
I feel that he's going to be almost. I wonder if it's hinted. It has been hinted, but I wonder if he's going to end up just like his father.
Yeah.
You know, like doing the exact same path. Because there are different tiers within the Hunter Society.
I'm just wondering why people aren't telling him about it.
He seems like completely oblivious. No one, like his aunt.
Like, so I think Killua said he was an idiot for like coming to it and not even knowing his father or, you know, not knowing anything about him. Yeah. It's like, yeah, that's bloody true. Why is he doing that?
Well, I thought, in a way, it is admirable because his father left him to become... He was already a hunter at 11 years old because he did take the test then. That is...
12, I think? 12.
Brought about.
Yeah.
I thought they said 11. Or 11, 12. And so I thought it was really interesting that Gon admits that his father did leave him. He wasn't, like, sugarcoating it. And he says, but he wants to find out not just why he left him, but what is so special about being a hunter that makes you want to leave your own family like that. And he was, like, smiling. And the aunt, I feel like her heart was probably breaking at that thought. But we don't even know if that's his real aunt or what's the full story yet. But I just by raising him, I could see... I thought they did a nice job of, like, portraying the sadness in her face.
Yeah.
Of being upset about this.
They really did, yeah. And I think that this show in particular is difficult to review within 5 episodes because it's very slow. You know, it dives more into the plot or the events or the fights or the puzzles more than, you know, the character character discussions or things like that in the narrative.
Yeah, I did feel that things just picked up, especially in the 5th episode.
Yeah.
It just like you get hit right in the face with all of these different things start happening with Hisaka and Luario, and I was actually stunned. I thought this was going to be a very slow-paced anime, and I was prepared to continue watching it like that. I was like, oh, I'm interested to see how Luario is going to turn out. But then all of a sudden, it's like 5th episode, and it wasn't even throughout the whole episode. You don't even find about Hisaka until the very end, until like the last 10 minutes of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, if the rest of this anime is going to be this intense, I'm on board. I'm definitely on board for watching this.
Yeah. My one worry is with Gon and how childish he'll be If that, I don't know, I just find that silly sometimes, like, especially when he was like, "Oh, I'm excited because I was dying, I was scared." I was like, that's just silly. That's just strange.
I was expecting, because in other stories where someone would say that, they would usually scream like he's a monster or he's not human. I was expecting that to happen. I was waiting. I was like, okay, who's going to say it? Is it Lucario? And nobody said it. And I was like, really? I was like, you guys think this is part of human nature? But apparently in this Hunter universe, it is.
Yeah, another worry is that it's going to be too crazy, I think. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be a bit too nutty. Like, the universe won't make sense.
That's what I really, really want in an anime, is for its own story's universe to be complete. To feel as if it is either, if it's supposed to be part of the modern world or part of a specific historical period, fine. But if you're creating a fantasy universe, it needs to be whole. There shouldn't be like an openness about it. You want it to feel as if it's a more realistic world and you can actually envision yourself there and seeing these characters. That's what I really, really want in anime, and a lot of times, and in manga. But sometimes it doesn't always happen, and I feel like so far with Hunter x Hunter, it's not working for me.
Yeah, it's not working for me.
Not much is explained at all.
No.
Unless it's going to be explained throughout the entire series, which is fine. But as of right now, throughout these 5 episodes, I barely understand what kind of fantasy world this is.
Yeah, it's strange.
But
it's
did
all
you feel
over
that
the
same
place.
way?
It's a hodgepodge.
There's cars. There's obviously
cars?
magic spells. Yes, there were
That's
cars
insane.
when they were in the city.
Oh yeah,
Do you
the
remember
buses.
The bus?
Yeah,
the bus.
Yeah.
The buses that were not taking them to the exam point. I mean, I've seen cars run on magic energy before. I think most people, well, not in real life yet, but it may be someday. But in anime, so it's a plausible concept. And then Hisaka definitely has spells that he can cast by turning people's arms into flower petals and using the cards as basically very scary razors.
Overpowered. I don't know how they're going to fight him in the future.
But if you notice, like, Gon has only been using his fishing pole, which I can assume his father gave him. And Killua hasn't really used any magic either. Like, I'm wondering how far the magic goes within this universe. Because so far we've only seen it from Hisaka.
It doesn't, honestly, it doesn't make sense to me right now. And it's a bit crazy for me to, I don't know. Just a little bit over the top for me. Like a JoJo style almost.
I haven't seen JoJo's
I haven't seen it either, but like, I know
thinking,
the ridiculousness of it. Right? So...
Yeah, I was thinking like that. I was wondering if that's what this is going to turn out like that.
Here's the thing. We have 3 different things going on. Like, 3 different animes. We have the childish kind of Digimon Pokemon story. And then we have, like, this mature kind of stuff, like Muggy. Or, you know, like, some really messed up things. And then the third one's, like, the crazy, over-the-top style. You know? So, we don't... It needs to decide what it wants to be.
But it's also not blending together well.
It's not.
If you want to make it that way, it's fine. But what's worrying me is that this is the remake. That's what's worrying me. I haven't even seen the actual first one. This is the remake. Yeah. You would expect this to actually be a little more put together. And I don't know. But I know it is a semi-popular series, so I'm assuming that it gets much better later on.
Yeah. And I know... One thing is that Gon's character does progress. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think... Is this an anime that you want to continue to the very end? I mean, like, to watch everything you can of it? Or is this something that you're happy to let go?
I actually just got the DVD for the first volume because it was on sale. This store called HMV is closing down in Canada, which is very sad because it's one of the very few places you can actually get anime in physical form in a store.
Oh, that's horrible that it's closing.
Actually, the only place, so yeah, the only place you can get it now is probably Amazon or eBay, or the little stores. you know, mum and pop shops. But it's I was able to get it 40% off, so I got it for like $24, which is great.
That's nice.
And I like the dub. That's the only way to get the dub right now. So yeah.
So you're definitely continuing.
I will continue to at least episode 13. See how that goes. I probably won't get. I might get the next DVD. We'll see. But I'll probably continue with the sub after that. After episode 13.
I'm thinking of finishing the first season at least.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, there's only been like 2 anime that I can remember that I never finished.
Oh.
I have seen a lot of anime.
How much?
And even the bad ones, I just keep going. Oh my
I've not.
We don't want to go into that yet.
Come on, Eleni.
I've been watching anime since Sailor Moon first was released on American television, so it's countless. And I miss Funimation being an actual channel in America.
It used to be a channel?
It used to be an actual channel.
Huh.
Everything was dubbed though, but I used to like catch little, episodes here and there. I mean, the still only way to like watch full seasons is really online streaming through Funimation, Crunchyroll, NIS, that kind of stuff, but it was really nice being able to like turn the channel on and see a random anime that I've never seen before or heard of before and get super interested in it based upon the episode and then want to watch more of it. So it's really sad. And actually when I was watching Hunter x Hunter, I was thinking the first episode, I was thinking this seems like a Cartoon Network type anime that they have
is actually
available
airing
for
on
dubbed.
Toonami.
It is on Toonami. Okay.
So that is something that's actually airing on Cartoon Network. So funny enough.
I don't watch that much TV anymore. I just watch anime. So, and a lot of times I watch British shows, but so I'm not too. Yeah, British shows are the best.
Good quality.
Yes.
That's something we miss over here. Anyway, we're kind of off topic, so let's move it back.
So with Hunter, I'm definitely finishing up the first season of Hunter x Hunter. I'm not sure if I'm willing to watch the second season or even if I want to watch the very first anime adaptation of this. Even watching this, I really don't want to read the manga. Normally, I always want to read the manga after.
I think it look very dated
to
now.
an anime. I really feel that this is, especially Gon as a character, you can tell he's from the 90s.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm from the 90s.
He's a very dated character, and I just feel like this anime isn't aging well at all.
Awesome!
Maybe it's just because I don't feel as nostalgic as I do about like some other anime, but I don't feel like this even the remake hasn't aged well.
It's very true.
Would you recommend, I was trying to figure out, would you recommend this to a non-anime fan? Like someone who wants to get into the anime medium?
Not this one. I would say the first 3 episodes are too slow. The universe doesn't really make sense. But yeah.
It's all over the place.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
I don't even know if I could, I mean, we only have seen the first 5 episodes, but I don't know if I could even recommend this to even anime watchers, like those who are familiar with anime and they're looking for something new to watch. I just feel like this, honestly, it didn't hold my attention until the 5th episode.
It's true. I probably would have stopped if I did, yeah.
I really feel like it was the 5th episode that makes me want to know more about Luario and Kurapika. The first 2, I was like, this is really slow paced. This isn't, and I'm shocked because this is a remake. Usually the remakes of anime are faster paced. You don't have this huge long lag.
Full Metal Alchemist faster paced?
I feel like it is a little bit. I haven't finished watching the new one yet, but I feel like it was a little bit faster paced, and so is definitely ReZero or the Fate Stay Night series. Yeah, those remakes are definitely a lot more faster. They're intended to be faster.
This show could have got more editing done. Like, I feel like the script could have been chopped a bit, For example, we stayed in that tunnel for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Yeah,
it was
waiting for the trial to start. You know, like, that's not fun, really. And then they introduce a character that they completely let go. And like an episode later, the chubby kid. I was trying to find the name.
Oh, the computer boy.
The computer guy, yeah.
Yeah, the computer geeky boy.
Yeah.
I was also surprised that he had a laptop, so that means that there's Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's true!
Because he was researching. It wasn't like he was just typing. He was actually researching things.
What the hell is with this universe?
And it wasn't even a magical laptop. You couldn't even see, like, any lacrima attached to it. It was literally, like, a laptop from 99. Like, it wasn't, like, there... Like, I was so confused by this. And he was the only one with the laptop. Like, you hadn't seen any evidence of computers outside of that one character.
It would be amazing if they somehow explained why all this is in one universe.
Like... They didn't even say... Normally, sometimes there's a narrator, and they'll be like, in an alternate universe of today's world, or something like that.
Here's my crazy theory. Okay? Something happened to combine all these timelines and worlds together into one world, and now everyone has, like, different styles and different ways of living. I don't know. Just a crazy theory here I'm probably wrong about, but... yeah.
But it's a plausible theory.
How is it plausible?
I would see that happening, actually.
You can?
Yeah, I can see that happening. Because you have... Kurapika is obviously from...
Tribe, right?
The very sad tribe who disappeared. And then you have Killua, who looks like he's sort of like... more from the suburbs. Possibly the cities area, and then Gon obviously from the mountain, and Luario looks like he stepped off of a business trip. So it's like, yeah, you've got a wide range of people here.
And the laptops.
And then you have Computer Boy and Hisaka, which looks like he got kicked out of the circus, probably for murdering the ringmaster or something. Like, it's just...
Doesn't make sense!
I don't know. I've seen a lot of anime and read manga, and am very versed in anime universes, but this, even for me, is starting to not... I'm very confused with
some of the characters as well, like this guy called Beans that I'm seeing on this fandom wiki. Like, how does that make sense to the universe as well? And Cutie Beauty, like, what? But it's like this bean monster or whatever. Like, how does that... Oh, I don't know.
It could be a mask.
I guess it could be. I don't know.
It could be a mask. Yeah, I'm curious to see how the whole technology aspect's going to... Obviously, they have advanced digital technology here in this universe. They haven't addressed it. And I don't know. It's as much as I want to see Luario's character and even Kurapika, I kind of know what's going to happen with Gon just from the way he acted in the first 5 episodes, but I don't know. This isn't an anime that I would put on my favorites list of like a list that I would hand to a friend and be like, "Here, you have to watch this." It's like it's just all over the place. It seems choppy, and I'm very disappointed as a remake. It's not very non-fan friendly, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Like, my friend, she loves this show, so I was looking forward to watching it, and I'm sorry if you're listening to this. I don't like it much. Yeah. Right now, anyway.
It's very confusing.
Yeah.
So, as usual, we're going to wrap up our lovely podcast with what anime we were currently watching. I definitely need to finish watching Fuuka, because we're definitely going to be talking about that, and I'm excited to...
Get your Crunchyroll subscription!
I am! Don't worry, I am.
I'll talk about it next week for you.
I'm excited for that one. Although, I have very mixed... Well, you guys will find out in our next podcast my feelings about that anime. You'll... I'm not talking about it now.
Oh, I don't even know, so this should be interesting.
Yes. No one knows but me. But the next podcast, everyone will hear about it.
I'll just say this.
But
you can read my review of episode 11 if you want to get an early preview of my impressions of it. There's a lot of twists and turns here. The acting is phenomenal, I think. Apparently it's contradictory to what everyone else is thinking in the anime community, according to one commenter, but I don't know. But, like, I think the acting is phenomenal. The writing just is so natural. Heartbreaking as well. Maybe I'm saying too much. I don't know. Sorry, lady.
Don't spoil me. I don't want this spoiled.
And the animation is so good. It really shows the emotions of the characters and what they're going through, and how hard love can be. You know, how hard it can be to deal with.
Now I'm worried. Now I'm worried.
Ah, that's good.
My opinions.
That's good. Get that Crunchyroll subscription.
So, are you still watching Fuuka, Chris? Is there anything left for you to watch?
I got one more episode left of Fuuka. I'm very sad.
Are you going to watch any more of Hunter x Hunter?
Probably, yeah. I'm going to keep watching that. I hope it gets better, but it's...
I really do.
Yeah, like...
It has potential.
It does, for sure.
There's potential.
I just think the characters just don't really make sense. Gon especially. You know, he's supposed to be this happy-go-lucky kid, but then he just gets excited over being scared. It's odd to me.
Very worrisome.
Yeah.
But our theories will be put to the test soon.
Yeah.
Very soon, as we continue.
Hey, I've been right about theories before, almost. So... I've also... What have you been watching recently? I know you've been watching Ace Attorney again this week.
Yes, and soon, by the time this podcast goes up, you probably can find my review of episode 18 of Ace Attorney, and I'm very, very disappointed. I'm laughing, but I am very, very sternly disappointed in that anime. And
would you say you're objecting to it?
Very much so. So much. And I almost feel like it's very unfair to the fans, but it is what it is. It's been done. It's not continuing or anything as far as I know, but yeah, so if you guys would like to learn about Ace Attorney and my anger towards it, you can definitely read and keep up with my reviews on Bago games.
Oh dear.
I have strong opinions.
That's good. You're supposed to have strong opinions. I would hope so. So yeah, next week, hopefully, if Eleni gets a subscription,
I will, guys. Don't worry.
Talk about the last episode of Fuuka. We'll have a montage of our reactions to the episodes 11 and 12. Yeah, I am enthusiastic about what I watch. I can be, so you'll probably enjoy that.
I'm definitely predicting a lot of energy with our next podcast.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, Hunter x Hunter was a very difficult thing to review this week, I think, because it's slow to begin with, right? For the majority of it, so it's difficult to really discuss because there's not a lot that happens.
It feels very mediocre.
And mediocre. The characters are, they're in depth, but they don't really make sense, and the universe doesn't make sense either.
It's just like a huge bowl of confusion. and there's no way for anything to make sense and be sorted out as of right now. But we're going to both continue watching, and hopefully, I'm really, really hoping, because I love adventure anime. It's my favorite type of anime to watch. It's my favorite type of story to read. I love novels that are based on travel and adventures and magic and everything. And I feel like this is a huge wasted opportunity. But we'll hopefully continue. And
I'm thinking it gets better after the exam. After they get through.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping. I'm always hoping the anime gets better.
Yeah. But the voice work is really good.
It is. I'm very impressed with I've only seen the Japanese version, but it is very, very excellent. And you're enjoying the dubbed version?
The dub's just as good. Kirkuk's voice actor's really confusing me though still.
Oh, don't worry, it's confusing me too.
Yeah, it's
like I'm
strange.
used to females.
I'm seeing a guy, but I'm hearing a girl's voice coming out of the guy, and it's kind of taking me out of it a bit.
Like I'm used to especially with the most popular example would be Armin from Attack on Titan is voiced by a girl, but this is Kirkuk is purposely sounding like a girl.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see, is there a reason why, or like I'm along with you, I'm very confused by this, but we'll find out later, I suppose. I'm hoping.
But yeah, next episode, Fuuka. Look forward to it. We'll probably be very enthusiastic about that, unlike this week.
Very strong.
I'm also very
opinions in
tired,
this podcast.
so that's something to keep in mind too for this week. I'm also very tired during this recording.
It's okay, Chris.
Oh, I'm gonna lose it. Just kidding.
Even reviewers get tired every once in a while. And this was an anime that doesn't have much enthusiasm.
No.
As much as I wanted to. Like, I was looking forward to be enthusiastic about it, but...
I thought I would be loving it right now. Honestly. But...
I'm surprised at myself. I'm surprised a lot with this, as you probably heard me say 1,000 times in this podcast, but I'm even surprised with myself on my reaction to this. But it's the truth. It's a very... As of right now, the first 5 episodes, there's not much.
Yeah.
There really isn't much to be excited over, but... Hopefully the rest of this remake is a lot better.
So yeah, please check us out next week. We've decided to make it a weekly podcast instead of a bi-weekly podcast. So yeah, look for us soon.
Bye everyone.
Arigato gozaimasu. Hey guys, so I wanted to give you a bit of an update. So we recorded the podcast about a week ago now. And I just wanted to give you my thoughts because I've watched about 21 episodes since then. I like this anime quite a bit. So there's a few things we mentioned in the podcast that I kind of disagree with now. And I think 5 episodes isn't really enough to judge the series itself yet, because it's a very slow moving anime as opposed to something like a Fuuka or 7 Deadly Sins. The characters progress really well and I'm enjoying it because you can see that progression in Killua, you can see that in Gon and Kirkuk and Leorio to a lesser extent. The voice acting so far has been amazing. It's been stellar for both the dub and the sub. So either way is great, and like I said in the podcast before, the talent behind the dub is fantastic, so you're going to be fine with that. And especially towards the end, towards the episode 20 and 21, you start to see that progression within Gon. He's becoming a bit tougher, he's becoming less happy-go-lucky in a way. And he's stepping in to... I'm not going to spoil too much, but like he's stepping in to help his best friend. And Killua does the same thing, and it's really sweet. Yeah, it's something. It's a great character progression within those episodes, and I'm glad I'm talking to you about it now. Would I tell you to continue? Definitely. It gets so much better after episode 5. You get some interesting parts in future episodes that have intriguing kind of puzzles that the characters have to figure out, and intriguing kind of challenges that they have to come across as well. So keep watching it, stick with it, and enjoy it, because we were quite negative on the show to begin with, but it's really beginning to flesh out now, and it does throw in some curveballs at you as well, and yeah, totally watch it, guys. You'll like it.